Every man can be drawn in by looks, by charm, or even by temptation. But what really binds him, what makes him never even consider another woman, is not what you think. It's not just about the physical moment, it's about the words you speak into his soul when he's closest to you. See, intimacy isn't just about bodies coming together, it's about minds, emotions, and hearts locking in. And when you know what to say in those moments, you don't just capture his attention, you capture his loyalty forever. When a man is with you in that most intimate moment, what he's craving more than anything is not just physical satisfaction, it's validation of who he is. Every man, no matter how strong, how confident, or how put together he seems, carries that quiet question inside of him, am I enough? It may never leave his lips, but it lingers in his mind. And the truth is, you hold the answer to that question more than anyone else in his world. What you say to him when he's at his most vulnerable can either feed his doubts, or it can settle his soul. See, affirming his masculinity is not about stroking his ego. It's about speaking to the very core of who he is. Men walk through life with pressure on their shoulders, pressure to provide, to protect, to perform, to be strong when they feel weak. Society doesn't always give them space to be vulnerable, to feel appreciated, to hear words that remind them they are enough. But when he's with you, when he's inside you, that's when the mask comes off. That's when he lets himself be seen. And in that moment, your words can become his greatest source of strength or his deepest insecurity. Imagine the difference it makes when he hears you whisper, "You make me feel so safe." That's not just a compliment, it's an affirmation. It tells him that his presence, his touch, his energy gives you security. Or when you say, "I love the way you take care of me," you're not inflating an ego, you're reassuring him that he matters, that what he does for you is noticed and appreciated. To a man, that is oxygen. It's fuel. It's what makes him want to give more of himself, because he feels seen in the role he was designed to fulfill. A lot of women underestimate how much those simple affirmations can shape a man's loyalty. Men don't need grand speeches. They don't need poetry. They need truth. And when that truth is wrapped in admiration, it sticks deeper than any temptation the outside world could throw at him. Because while another woman might offer him attention, she can't offer him respect. While another woman might flatter his looks, she can't touch his soul the way you can when you remind him that he's more than enough for you. Think about this, the very moment when he's closest to you is also when he's at his most open. His body might be strong, but his heart is tender. That is when your voice becomes the loudest thing in his world. And if what he hears is affirmation, words that tell him he's the man you desire, the man you trust, the man who satisfies you, then you've etched something in him that's unforgettable. That's how you make him not just want you, but choose you over and over again. So affirm his masculinity, not because he needs his pride inflated, but because every man needs to know he's more than just tolerated, he's treasured. When you speak those words in those moments, you give him something no one else can, peace in who he is as a man. And once he feels that with you, he won't be searching for it anywhere else. Do you want me to expand key point 2 next in the same flowing style? When you're in that moment with him, it's easy to get caught up in the passion, the heat, the intensity of right now. And while that's important, what makes you unforgettable is not just how you make him feel in the moment, but how you connect that moment to his future. A man doesn't just want pleasure. He wants purpose. He wants to know that what's happening between you two isn't temporary, that it carries weight, that it's building something bigger than just the here and now. And the most powerful way to give him that assurance is through the words you choose when he's closest to you. See, when you plant words that look beyond tonight, you're doing more than being romantic. You're tying his soul to a vision. You're saying, without spelling it out, that you see him standing with you not only in your bed but in your life. You're telling him, you're not just someone I'm with right now. You're the man I see beside me tomorrow, next year, and in every season to come. That's a powerful kind of security that a man rarely finds anywhere else. Imagine the impact of whispering, "I can't wait to spend forever with you," or "I love building this life with you." Those words carry him out of the moment and into a vision of what you're both creating together. They make him think about more than just his role in the bedroom. They make him think about his role in your life. And when a man feels like he's building something meaningful with you, his loyalty strengthens in ways that physical attraction alone could never hold. Here's the truth: men crave direction just as much as they crave desire. They want to feel that what they're giving isn't wasted, that their love, their time, their presence is shaping something that lasts. When you affirm that by speaking into the future, you're giving him that sense of lasting value. You're taking what could be just a physical exchange and transforming it into an emotional anchor. And anchors keep people from drifting. What you're really doing is tapping into his natural instinct to lead, to build, to protect. And when you tell him you see him in your future, you're telling him he's not just filling a space, he's fulfilling a destiny. That's why those words hit harder than flattery. Flattery feeds pride, but vision feeds purpose. And purpose is what keeps a man tied to you, because it makes him feel like his life is better, bigger, and more meaningful with you in it. Think about how different it feels when he knows you see him not just as a partner in passion, but as a partner in life. Suddenly, intimacy isn't just about satisfying an urge, it's about celebrating the bond you're building. And the more he hears those subtle affirmations of tomorrow, the more he will align himself with you today. Because for a man, the greatest security is knowing the woman he desires also desires him in her future. So when you're in that moment, don't just focus on the now. Give him glimpses of the tomorrow you see with him. Speak to his future while holding him in your present. Because when a man feels that his life, his love, and his legacy are tied to you, no temptation outside will ever compare to the promise he has with you. Do you want me to continue by expanding key point 3 next in the same seamless style? Gratitude is one of the most powerful things you can give a man, especially when he's closest to you. See, a lot of people get caught up in wanting more, expecting more, demanding more, but what makes a man give his best is not pressure, it's appreciation. When he feels like you see him, like you recognize what he brings to your life and you value it, that's when he pours himself out even more. And the moment when he's with you, when there's nothing else between you but raw vulnerability, that's the moment when gratitude spoken out loud becomes unforgettable. Think about it. He lives in a world that rarely says thank you to him. At work, his effort is expected. Among friends, his strength is assumed. In society, his role is often dismissed. Even in his personal life, he might feel like what he does is never quite enough. But when he's with you, in that moment where he's completely exposed, your gratitude has the power to undo all the weight he's been carrying. A simple whisper like, "I'm so thankful it's you," or "I love how much you give to me," becomes a release, a reminder that he matters. It's not about being poetic, it's about being genuine. The mistake many make is thinking that intimacy is the time to ask for more or criticize what's lacking. That only builds walls. What builds bridges is letting him know how much you already appreciate what he gives. Gratitude shifts the energy. It takes the focus off what's missing and shines light on what's already there. And when a man feels appreciated, his natural instinct is to give more. Not because he has to, but because he wants to. Gratitude draws out his best self. It doesn't have to be big speeches or rehearsed lines. It can be as simple as saying, "I love the way you make me feel," or "I love that you chose me." Those little truths land deep, because he knows they're not surface level. They're coming from your heart in a moment where everything is real. And when he hears it, it sticks. Because while another woman might tell him he looks good, not every woman will tell him she's thankful for who he is. That's the difference. Gratitude also shifts the tone of your relationship. It softens tension, it strengthens connection, It makes both of you feel like you're on the same team. When you thank him, you're not lowering yourself, you're raising the value of what you share. Because what you're really saying is, I don't take you for granted. I see you. I appreciate you. And that creates a bond that outlasts any temporary distraction. You want him to walk away from those moments, not just feeling satisfied, but feeling chosen. Gratitude does that. It makes him realize he's not just filling a role, he's fulfilling a need only he can meet for you. And when he feels like the man you're grateful for, he has no reason to look anywhere else. So instead of using those moments to demand more, use them to appreciate what already is. Because gratitude is the language that keeps a man's heart loyal, his soul connected, and his eyes fixed only on you. Do you want me to move forward and expand key point 4 next in the same connected, flowing style? One of the most powerful things you can give a man in those intimate moments is the reflection of his own desire. Men don't just want to pursue, they want to feel pursued in return. They don't just want to feel like they're the only ones doing the wanting, they want to feel wanted. And when you take that passion he gives you and mirror it back with your words, it creates a bond that goes deeper than the physical. Because in that instant, he's not just satisfying you, he's being reassured that he's your desire, your choice, your fulfillment. Think about it. He could hear compliments all day from the outside world. He could be admired for his looks, his job, his strength. But what he cannot find everywhere is a woman who looks him in the eyes in his most vulnerable state and says, I need you. I crave you. No one makes me feel the way you do. That's not just affirmation. That's exclusivity. That's telling him that all of you wants all of him, and there's no competition in your mind or in your heart. When you express that, it does something to him. It takes down walls, it quiets insecurities, it answers questions he might never ask out loud. A man may appear confident, but inside, he wonders if he's enough, if he truly satisfies you, if he really is the one you desire above all else. And in those moments, your voice has the power to silence all of those doubts. By mirroring back the passion he gives you, you tell him he is not only wanted, but also deeply fulfilling. It's not about being dramatic, it's about being honest. Whispering, I love how much I want you, or I can't get enough of you, is not just sexy, it's reassuring. It tells him that what he's giving you is not being taken for granted. It's cherished, it's reciprocated, it's feeding a fire in you that no one else can reach. And when a man feels like he's the one who ignites that fire, that's when he becomes addicted to you. Not out of obligation, but out of devotion. Because here's the truth, desire is one of the strongest bonds in a relationship, but it only stays strong when it's mutual. If he feels like he's the only one giving it, over time, he starts to question if it's enough, if it's even appreciated. But when you reflect it back, you close that gap, you're telling him, I don't just receive you, I want you just as much. And that balance creates security. It creates loyalty. It makes him feel like he doesn't need to search anywhere else, because what he longs for most, the validation of being desired, is already at home with you. When you mirror his desire back to him, you're giving him more than words. You're giving him peace. You're letting him know that not only does he satisfy your needs, but he is also the man you hunger for. And when that truth settles in his heart, no outside temptation can compare, because he knows he has something with you that he'll never find in anyone else. So in those moments, don't hold back. Let him hear that you crave him, that you want him, that you need him just as much as he needs you. Because when you give him that reflection of his own desire, you don't just connect bodies, you connect souls. Do you want me to expand key point 5 next with the same deep, flowing delivery? There's something most people overlook when it comes to real intimacy. They think it's all about performance, about passion, about physical connection. But the truth is, what makes intimacy unforgettable is not how perfect the moment looks, it's how honest the moment feels. And nothing makes a man feel more connected to you than when you're willing to let your guard down and reveal your emotional vulnerability. Now, I know vulnerability can feel risky. It means showing the side of you that isn't polished, that isn't rehearsed, that isn't guarded. It means opening up and saying things that come from the deepest place in your heart. But here's the power in that. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you're not weakening yourself, you're giving him a gift. You're letting him step into a level of closeness that he doesn't get anywhere else. And for a man, that's irreplaceable. Think about it. He may spend his days trying to be strong, trying to measure up, trying to never let the world see him struggle. He's carrying burdens he may never speak out loud, fighting battles you may never see. And while he might show toughness to everyone else, when he's with you, he's not looking for another wall. He's looking for connection. And the way he feels that is when you let him into your softer side, the side that says, I need you. I trust you. I feel safe with you. Those words don't make you less strong. They make you more real. They tell him he's not just another man to you. He's the man, the one you allow into the deepest parts of your life and your heart. And that does something to him. It makes him protective. It makes him devoted. It makes him feel like he carries a role no one else can. Because while the world might admire your strength, he gets to hold your softness. And that's a privilege he won't ever want to lose. Vulnerability also builds a deeper kind of trust. When you're willing to say, I'm scared, but I feel safe with you, or I don't let many people this close, but I want you here, you're letting him know you're not just sharing your body, you're sharing your soul. And once he's trusted with that, he doesn't take it lightly. It bonds him, it anchors him, it makes him want to honor what you've given. Because he knows it's rare, and he knows it's real. Too many people try to keep intimacy perfect, controlled, polished. But what really sticks is when it's raw and true. Vulnerability makes it raw, and vulnerability makes it human, and vulnerability makes it unforgettable. A man can get physical attention anywhere, but he cannot find your kind of honesty everywhere. That's what makes you different. That's what keeps him tied to you long after the moment ends. So don't be afraid to open up in those times. Don't be afraid to say the things that feel scary to admit. Don't be afraid to let him see that softer part of you that the rest of the world never gets to see. Because when you let him hold that part of you, he won't just be with you. He'll be bound to you. Do you want me to move forward and expand key point 6 in the same connected way to complete the flow of the full speech? There's one thing every man craves more than he'll ever admit out loud, and that's respect. It's the language of his soul. It's what fuels his confidence. It's what steadies his spirit, and it's what makes him feel like the man he's always wanted to be. And while intimacy might look like it's all about passion and pleasure, the truth is, the most powerful thing you can seal that moment with is not just desire, but admiration. Because when a man feels respected by the woman he loves, it doesn't just touch his body, it engraves itself on his heart. See, admiration is not about inflating his ego or telling him things he wants to hear just to make him feel good. It's about pointing out the things you truly value about him and speaking them when he's at his most open to receive them. When you look at him in that moment and say, I love the man you are, or I admire the way you take care of us, you're giving him a kind of affirmation he can't get anywhere else. It's not flattery. It's truth spoken at the exact moment his heart is ready to hold on to it. And here's the thing about respect: men can feel it or feel its absence instantly. If he feels disrespected, if he feels belittled, if he feels like nothing he does is ever good enough, it chips away at him. But if he feels admired, if he feels that who he is matters and is valued, that builds him stronger. It makes him want to rise up and be even better for you. Respect is the soil where his devotion grows. Think about it like this. A man can hear compliments about his appearance, his success, or even his skills from the world. But only you can speak to the man behind all of that. Only you can tell him you admire his character, his drive, his loyalty, his heart. And when you do that in those vulnerable moments, When everything else is stripped away and it's just the two of you, those words don't just pass through his ears, they sink into his identity. They become a part of how he sees himself, and more importantly, how he sees you. Because the truth is, men stay where they feel respected. They commit to where they feel admired. They give everything to the woman who makes them feel not only wanted but honored. That's the difference between being desired and being valued. Desire pulls him in, but respect makes him stay. And it doesn't take a speech to do it. It can be as simple as saying, "I'm proud of you," or "I love who you are with me." It's the little reminders that tell him he's not just a man in your life. He's the man in your life. That's the kind of language that doesn't fade when the moment ends. That's the kind of affirmation that echoes in his mind long after, keeping him drawn to you in a way no one else can match. So when the passion has reached its peak, when everything slows down and his heart is open, that's the time to give him what he craves most. Let him feel not just your love, but your respect. Because once a man feels admired in the deepest part of who he is, he won't ever need to look for it anywhere else.